Hey everybody, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use Spark AR, which is a program that was created by Facebook that you can use to create your own augmented reality experiences and export to Facebook or Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to access this thing. Okay, so I'm going to go into Tracks and there is this link to the AR exercise, and you'll see that over here on the right, I've got my Word opened up here. The first portion was on Xcode, and if you have a Mac and an iPhone and an Xcode program, you could do that. But if you don't, then you can use this, Spark AR Studio. And so it's basically a program, again, that was created by Facebook. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up here, Spark AR. So first you need to actually go download that, and it's not hard to find. If you just get a new tab open and type in Spark AR and follow the instructions to install it on your PC or Mac, you can just go ahead and press the big download button, install it, and basically this is what we see. There's a lot that you can do with Spark AR, and as you can see, there are all these tutorials, and feel free to experiment with it all you want to. I would like for you just to do some kind of an augmented reality experience. But what I'm going to do is just start, and there are a lot of kind of tutorials here that I've gone through that are pretty fun, and so you may want to do something like that. But basically, if you follow the instructions that I have here, if you just click blank project, you're going to see it open up this whole new kind of interface. And this is somewhat similar to the interface that you saw when we did Unity, in that it does have a 3D 360 interface here. You have all of your different scene layers up here in the top left, and then some library elements for you to import projects and things like that. So just going down the list here in the instructions, go ahead and open the Spark AR Studio on Mac or PC. You will have to log into Facebook when you're prompted, and so you do have to have a Facebook account for this to even run, but I know y'all do, and then choose Create Project, which we did. Now, what we want to do is go to Project, Edit Properties, and uncheck Instagram, because there's certain things that you can't do on Instagram that you can do on Facebook. And so I'm going to go to Properties, Edit Properties, and uncheck Instagram. And if you do want to do something with an Instagram filter, that's fine. It's just this particular demo, I'm going to not use the Instagram filter, because you do get more options if you unclick that. So then from here, we need to, the scene panel on the left, we're going to choose Add Object. So here on the left, you'll see all these different layers, and this is where we're going to be able to add any objects that we want to. And you can see there's a person here with a demo kind of going through there, because they kind of expect you to do a face filter, but we're not really going to do that in this demo. We're going to build one of two things. You could either do, it's already set to do face tracking, but you can do a plane tracker, which is basically it will detect a horizontal plane like a table or a floor and build something on top of that. Or we could do a fixed target, which I'll show you in a second here. And that is going to detect a poster or some kind of a visual image, and then put the objects on top of that when it detects that. So we're going to start with a plane tracker, and I'm going to go ahead and press Insert. And so basically it's going to detect the plane. You can see it kind of created this new interface for us, and we can kind of move that around by holding the command button down, and we can move around by holding the option button down. But basically this here on the left is going to be your phone, what the user is going to see, and then down here on the bottom is where the item will be placed. Now, in order to bring something into my world, it's going to be called assets, and you have different asset libraries. If you look in the instructions, it will ask you to create an account at Sketchfab, and then once you do that, you can incorporate all these different 3D objects into Sketchfab. You do not have to do this. It's just that if you have an account at Sketchfab, you will get a huge library of lots of other 3D objects. Another thing to do is that if you go to turbosquid.com or 3d.com or other websites that have free 3D images, you can download those, and this does support file types that include FBX, OBJ, and all those 3D files. And so you would actually, in order to do that, you could import from your computer, and once you downloaded that file, you could import it right here. And if you don't have those, which I obviously don't have, I'm going to go ahead and just go from my AR library. And the AR library is connected to Sketchfab because I created the account, and it's easy to do that. So I'm going to click here on the 3D Objects tab. You can see all my different objects pulled in from Sketchfab, And then I'm just going to do something pretty, let's see, I'll grab this cool dude and I'm going to import free, and it's now importing him into my asset library. You can do not just, cool dudes, but there are lots of other items if you want to just grab from a certain category, like just basic 3D objects is one category. And I can kind of go back here so I can see them all, and it'll give you all kinds of different options here. Let's go down to, okay, so I found this medieval chest, and I'm going to go ahead and press import free. And it's going to import it into my new project. And I can take that material of the medieval chest, I can drag it on top of the plane tracker, and there it is. And I can move it around depending on where I want it to appear, right, left, back and forth, and however I want it to look in our world. Right now it's basically centered it, and we can add some other interactions if we need to. But I'm going to go ahead and deploy this to my Facebook camera. And what this is going to do is it's going to export it onto the Facebook app so that it'll give you a notification from your phone that to try out the filter. Once you click that, it will detect the flat plane and it will put this chest in the middle of the floor. Okay, and so when it is done, you should see this message pop up that they've sent it a notification to Facebook, and I'm going to share also with my phone so you can see what pops up on there as well. And you should get this notification on Facebook itself that when you click on it, try this camera effect, and I'll go ahead and tap on that. So now when it detects a flat surface, hopefully it will, and there it is, it's a treasure chest. As you can see, it's not quite on my floor yet, but had I turned faster or used it in a different way with the floor kind of ready, it would have worked better. So that's how you deploy it, just using the flat tracking, horizontal tracking. So instead of deploying to a horizontal plane, like if it detects a surface, we can also get it to not just do plane tracking, but we could have it detect like something like a poster. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And if I wanted it to detect a poster and then make something on that, I can click Add Object and do a fixed target tracker. And that is going to allow me to track a specific target if I have a picture of it. So here you can see it looks like it's a vertical shape. I can take that item where it says texture here on the right. I can find a file to attach it to. And I took a picture of a poster that I have in my room, and I'm going to take it, and this is the poster that I took on the wall. I'm going to press open. And so basically it's making my tracker to be that exact poster. So that was just something I took off my camera. Now I can take that chest again and I can drag it on top of the fixed target tracker, and when it detects that plane, it will place this treasure chest on it. Now this is a little bit large, so I'm going to take it and just downsize it quite a bit. So it's the size of the poster, a little bit better to be sized in that regard. I'm going to move it kind of sideways and then kind of pull it out a little bit so it comes out. So anyway, that's what's going to happen when it detects the poster. It's going to show the treasure chest. And I'm going to do much the exact same way. I'm just going to test it on the app. I'm going to press refresh, and it's going to send that to my Facebook, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Okay, and so when that's done, you'll see this message pop up that they sent it to my Facebook account, and I'm going to share it on my phone again so you can see what happens. Now that I have it here, it is looking for that poster, and when I hold it up to the wall, there, I found it. Now, I can't walk any closer to it because I'm tethered to the computer here, but you can see that the chest did make it up to that poster on the wall. Okay, so now that we got it working, I just want to show you one more thing that this can do, and it really can do a lot. We're going to work a little bit with what's called the patch editor. Patches allow you to create actions and animations on top of these items. And so basically what we can do is we can press add patch, and I'm going to go to, you can add in all kinds of different things here, but when we go down to the interactions, I'm going to scroll down to screen tap. So you can see all kinds of other, actions. A lot of them have to do with head motions and things like that, but we're just going to do a screen tap. And so basically, once somebody taps the screen, you do a screen tap, add patch, and there it is, okay? And these can go anywhere. It's good to keep them organized. But what we're also going to do is on the tap, we want it to play an audio, okay, an audio clip. So what we'll do is first we have to have a speaker added to our object. So I'm going to go to our scene. So I'm going to add an object. And if you scroll all the way down, you can see you can add a speaker. And it's obviously for playing back some audio. Now I want this to actually be a child as well, so that it pops up when it gets tapped, when it gets tracked. Okay, so now that we have the speaker in there, we can also add a new asset, which is going to hold our sound. So this is kind of like the action to make it happen, and then we actually need to add the sound itself. So when I click Add Asset, I'm going to click Audio Playback Controller, and this is where it's going to find the audio. Now, you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to leave it as Audio Playback Controller 0. And it's going to need, when you click on it, it's going to need an audio source. And so I'm going to go click on here, Import from Computer. And really, in order to get the best possible sound, and really to import any kind of sound, you do need to convert it to an M4A, and you need it to be a mono, and it also needs to be at 14.1. There are all kinds of different needs for it here. So what I did was I went to this onlineconvert.com, and I went to this audio converter, and it needs to be an M4A is what it needs, so M4A, and I'm going to go there. And then I uploaded the file, and then I chose the sampling rate. Again, it needed to be 44,100 kilohertz, and then it needs to be mono. And then I chose just from 0 to 15 seconds of the song because it was kind of a long song. And basically, once it did that, I could save it, and I saved it here to my desktop. Song by Arcade Fire. So I'm going to go back into my Spark AR, and that's the one I'm going to grab. It's only 1 megabyte large. Now the thing about this is it has to be under 25 megabytes total, and so the smaller the files, the better. I'm going to go ahead and press open, and now it's here. Okay, so now that it's in here, I can take it and add a patch to it. And so up here in the play button, when I press this little play button, basically it created its kind of target here in my patch editor. So now I have my screen tap, and then I've got my playback. Now, if I go here and drag the tap over to play, it's going to create a switch so that when I tap, it's going to either turn it on or off. It's going to either play or not play the song. And so basically, once that's done, then you can also make it loop or do whatever else you want to do, but that should be it. Now that I have a speaker on my scene, it is going to play back up here. It needs audio playback controller. Now that it's on my scene, I have to activate it, and that is done by this audio playback controller 0. It's making the connection from the speaker to the asset that I built down here, which is connected to these patches, and it's going to turn on and off due to the action. So that's a few steps, but once you click here and go ahead and refresh and let it process, it will play back, and I'll show you that working here in a second. Okay, so now when I tap the camera effect, I can hover my phone over the poster, and you can see that it added the treasure chest, and I'm going to tap this sound button so I can hear it, and I'll tap it. Okay, it's working. The sound plays. I'll tap it, and it stops, and I'll tap it again, and it plays. So there you have it. Okay, so now that you learned a little bit about Spark AR, just be creative with it, build some assets, maybe some music, some interactions, and see what you can do with it. And the way that I want you to turn this in is to screen record on your phone, you using the effect, and then just upload that to our Facebook page, and that's how you're going to turn this in. So have fun and good luck with it.